This is Spanish for Personal and Public Identity, vocab 76 through 80. All right, to inherit is heredar. All right? Visualize that your great-grandfather, great-grandmother died, and the family gets called together for the reading of the will, and the lawyer says, I called you all here to give you your inheritance. I called you all here to give you the things you're going to inherit. So see the word here and see the word dar. Now, we've talked before about dars to give. Like your friend says, dar you go, I wanted to give that back to you. So heredar is to inherit. The lawyer says, I called you here to give you the things you're going to inherit. Now, in English, we say cultural heritage, but in Spanish, we say heritage cultural. But notice the word cultural. It's spelled exactly the same in English and Spanish, but in Spanish, it's pronounced cultural. You stress the very last vowel, because it's what I call a lizard word. Remember, if a word in Spanish ends in L, Z, R, or D, the very last vowel gets stressed. So it's herencia cultural, literally inheritance cultural for cultural heritage. Now again, notice, the only silent letter in Spanish is H. So this H is silent. It's heredar, not heredar, and it's herencia, not herencia. Interest is very, very easy. It's el interés. Notice, in Spanish it does not end in a T. Interest in English is a T, but Spanish does not. But notice Spanish has an accent. That accent says, hey, don't stress the next to last vowel, stress me. Don't say interés, say interés. Now, it doesn't end in O or A, so you have to memorize that interest is masculine. It could be interest on money. It can also be interest in an activity or a subject. Okay, interest is good. And in Spanish, things that are good tend to be masculine, so el interés is masculine. Now, the hobby is la afición. Notice, like interest, interés, it doesn't end in O or A. So you have to memorize that it's feminine. Remember, all words in Spanish that end in C-I-O-N are feminine. Education, la educación. Anticipation, la anticipación. And all words that end in C-I-O-N not only are feminine, but they all have an accent over the O. How are we going to remember that the hobby is la afición? Well, my hobby is I am a big fan of fiction. Go ahead and say that. My hobby is I am a big fan of fiction. See it? Afición. Now, for hobby, you can also say pasatiempo, literally pastime. Hey, when you have free time, how do you pass your time? You could say, well, my hobby is collecting stamps. I pass the time collecting stamps. Or my hobby is gardening. They're both good. They're both equally common. La afición or el pasatiempo. Now, harassment is acoso. These days, thank goodness, there is a high cost for people who engage in harassment. If you harass someone sexually or because of their religion or because of their gender or whatever. So these days, there is a high cost for engaging in harassment. See the letter A and it looks like the word cost? All right, time for a post quiz. Let me cover up the Spanish. I will give you a few moments, look at the English, and give the Spanish equivalents to make sure you know these words. This has been Spanish for PPI 76 through 80.